Hey guys, Stephen Bogren here from Pro Physique. Today I want to talk about whether or not you should cut water. Alright, hey guys, how y'all doing? How y'all doing today? Well, I feel kind of shitty, a little bit. So, speaking of cutting water, why the fuck would you talk about cutting water? Because I'm doing it today. So I haven't really ever, other than my first show ever, cut water. So I've done it once. And so I kind of want to talk about the times when I think it's probably okay to think about cutting water. Some of the times where I think that you may be chancing something. And some of the times that I think that it's just an absolute no fucking go. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about cutting water today. Oh, and by the way, Coach Steve on fleek. I don't know what that means. I think I said it correctly. But let's talk about where I'm at, why I think it's okay to cut water with where I'm at, and why. So, first and foremost, I'm not doing bodybuilding. No physique sports right now, right? I have a powerlifting meet this weekend. So, that's what I'm cutting weight for, okay? Now, that being said, I'm also reasonably close to weight. So my weight class is 181.5 pounds, right? I have been regularly weighing in around 183 to 185, okay? Now, past few days I was 185, today back down to 182 post-bathroom stuff. And all we have done so far is load water and cut carbs, okay? If you can't tell from my fucking stupid demeanor today. I don't know how y'all keto folks do it. My fucking heart is heavy already. So I cut carbs already. I've been, around 100 carbs the past 2-3 days. Today, again, is the first day of actually cutting water intake. I've had about 2 gallons a day the past 2 days. So, why am I cutting weight? Well, one, I have to fucking make weight. The only reason I'm even doing the meet is to take the state deadlift record, right? Or at least to try. So we'll see how that goes. I saw that it looked like it was something that was reasonable and possible for me to do. That was why I set the goal. And then I have another guy that's doing the meet that I kind of would like to beat, but whatever, we'll see. Him and I will be close. So it'll be a fun day either way. It'll give us some friendly competition, right? But I'm within a very, very reasonable amount of weight to my goal to cut. I'm not trying to cut down to 164, right? I think that's something would be a poor decision. So things that make it okay to cut weight. One, I have a 24-hour weigh-in, right? So I'm not weighing in 2 hours before I compete like a USAPL. I'm doing USPA drug tested, okay? So I think that having a bit more time to be able to rehydrate, get my electrolytes back in, get my glycogen stores back in. Remember, that's like an 8-hour process sometimes. So making sure that I have enough time to eat and drink and get back to a place where I'm going to perform well, right? Big thing there. So one of the main things you need to think about on top of, okay, am I close or am I far away? Is this even a realistic water cut? How long do I have for weigh-ins between weigh-in and competition? Because if you go into a competition dehydrated, low glycogen reserves, you're going to perform poorly. You're going to perform poorly. I fucking swear to God I know how to talk. So that's definitely one of the main things that you want to consider, right? And so that's what I think. It's definitely okay to cut water when you're close. You have a long time to rehydrate. You have plenty of time to get everything back in order to do all those other great things. Some of the time, maybe you're a little bit further away from weight, or maybe you're still close to weight, but you have a shorter time for weigh-in. Maybe you have a 2-hour weigh-in. You're doing a USAPL meet. Or whatever other sports you're doing, you're weighing in and going to compete fairly soon thereafter. Now I think that you need to be a little bit less aggressive with your water cut. So remember, the more aggressive you are with things, the more of a kickback you're going to get from the body. So the more aggressive you are with cutting water and doing those kind of cutting to make weight, the more of a kickback you're going to get in terms of performance decrements from the body for that competition. So if you have a shorter time for weigh-in, maybe it doesn't make sense to be as aggressive. Maybe you need to be working on filling out your weight class instead of always trying to cut down to the next weight class if where you compete has a shorter weigh-in time, right? Maybe if you have a further way to go, right? That's another time you might need to be rethinking that. Maybe you just got a little carried away in your off season. You just, maybe you don't belong in that lower weight class. Maybe you're going to be more competitive at a natural weight, at a higher weight. Those are things to consider as well. Again, simply because of the fact that the more that you have to force that weight cut, the more difficult it's going to be to bring your body back to where it's used to where you're going to perform well at a high level. Now, so there's definitely some gray area there in terms of should I cut weight, should I not cut weight. For me, if you're close, it's probably not the worst thing ever if you don't have to be super aggressive with it and you have time to make sure that you're getting back to a place where you can perform again, right? I also think that unless you're starting to get to the higher level, it's probably not super worth it. It can be difficult. It's definitely a little bit mentally draining. It's not a big, huge deal. It's not the worst thing ever. But if you do a lot of weight cuts over time, I find that people become very, very prone to not losing weight the same. Sorry, guys. But it's one of those things you have to consider. You have to take everything into consideration. I think if it's your first meet, your first competition, it probably doesn't make sense to try and cut weight. Go in, have fun, get a feel for what competition's like, sort of feel out where you're at. Again, English, low carb. Hey guys, this is what it's like if I'm dieting ever. That'll be your telltale. I'm an idiot. But get a feel for where you're at in terms of level of competition and sort of make a decision from there. But as you progress in, then I think that's a little bit more realistic of a choice to make, right? Now, when should you never cut weight? When should you never cut water? Physique competitions, right? So pretty much I don't have anyone ever cut water. Here's what happens. Your body wants to maintain homeostasis, plain and simple. There is a simple percentage of intracellular to extracellular water that your body likes to keep. So when you're cutting water, not only are you cutting water from the fluid-filled spaces around your cells, but you're also cutting water from within the cells, right? So remember, when you cut water from within the cells, you look flatter, you look softer, you just don't have the same muscularity there, right? And again, it can take a lot of time, it can take electrolytes, and making sure that we have everything able to do that. More often than not, I find that people don't do it well, right? Again, when you're going into a bodybuilding or a physique competition, the goal is to bring your best physique. So a lot of these classes don't have weight limits, right? Like men's physique doesn't have a weight limit. Women's bikini doesn't have a weight limit. Women's figure, no weight limit, right? So you don't really have to worry about making weight for those. So there's absolutely no reason whatsoever that you should be cutting water. Sometimes if you dehydrate and you're not lean enough, it can make you look just a little bit leaner, but the goal should always to be lean enough going in, right? That's what our goal should be. We should be lean enough going into where we don't have to do any kind of crazy silly things where we looked great going into peak week, then we hit peak week, our show day we looked terrible, and then the day after the show and the day after that we looked great again, right? We want to make sure that we keep things consistent. So when do we cut water? Athletic competitions, yes, absolutely, we can cut water depending on the situation. When do we never cut water? Physique competitions. Never, ever, fucking ever do I have anyone cut water. So, plain and simple. But that's it, guys. Hopefully that helps out a little bit. I know most of you guys don't give a fuck about performance-based sports, but I made you wait till the end for the physique stuff anyway. So that's it, guys. Hope you have a wonderful Thursday. I'm going to hopefully get some carbs back in here Saturday morning, and then I'll stop being an idiot and learn how to talk again.